center was an orb of virgin flame, burning but again not consumed. A feeling of awe and dread caused him to hesitate when the beings of invisible flame called out to him, saying, "Enoch, this place is the end of heaven and earth, a prison for the stars and the host of heaven." He went and he trembled. He could not believe his eyes. He could not describe this vision except by way of saying that this place was beyond and without firmament. He saw a mighty sword composed of lightning sting the very cornerstone of the earth, and then realized what was happening and why he was being shown this terrific sight. This was generation. This was realization. This was the place where both stars and earth are born from, a place of pre-creation. This was where reality is made. We grew up under the assumption that the universe is made up of atoms, the only argument being things of concept like ideas and dreams. Well, it turns out that, like many other solid facts in science that tend to break down over time, the universe is only about 1% atomic. 99% of our physical universe is made up of plasma. Plasma is not composed of atoms. It is, loosely speaking, loose particles like charged protons and stray electrons. And it is pretty much everything, making our tangible earthly world quite literally the minority of reality overall. Our biological senses, limited to what we have come to call the black cube, is set up to work with tangible atomic reality for survival here, making no surprise as to the origin of this mix-up. We really have to get outside the box to imagine reality in this different way. Finding this out, one is quick to assume that the plasma that makes up our unseen reality ain't doing much but hovering around lifeless. Again, this is our black cube doing the assuming for us. Professor Robert Temple, along with many scientists currently catching up to the new findings, insists that ordering properties of charged subatomic particles is quite complex. So complex that it dwarfs the neural networks of a brain. It evolves and it makes decisions. Seems unprecedented, but studies have been showing this for a long time now, and just like any other result that would cause Rupert Sheldrake to do a graceful backflip, when we find consciousness outside of ourselves, we often become frightened, throwing out the scientific method.
Drones, UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, they've dominated the news lately. But what if the answer isn't aliens, but something even stranger? Today, we're diving into a groundbreaking theory backed by NASA's very own footage. Glowing plasmas in the thermosphere, or what some scientists are calling plasmoids. These mysterious entities exhibit lifelike behavior, and some researchers believe they could be the key to understanding the origins of life, or the true nature of many of these UFO sightings. Let's explore the science, the evidence, and the unanswered questions behind these glowing enigmas in the sky. So we're going to be reading some excerpts from Extraterrestrial Life in the Thermosphere, Plasmas, UAP, Pre-Life, Fourth State of Matter. This is a research paper that was published in the Journal of Modern Physics in February 2024. And here we can see everyone that contributed to this paper. Now, before we move on, if you don't know where the thermosphere is, let's just go over this real quick. So the troposphere is here down on Earth, anywhere from 0 kilometers to about 18 kilometers. And that's where all the weather activity and clouds are, hot air balloons, passenger planes, things like that. Above that, we have the stratosphere, which is above any weather events, any weather activity. A lot of planes and jets will fly there for a smooth ride. Now, the stratosphere also includes the ozone layer, which helps protect us from harmful UV rays from the sun and things of that nature. And above that, we have the mesosphere. So if you ever seen meteor showers, things like that, that's where this is occurring. And that's between 80 to 90 kilometers. Now, from 80 kilometers up to about 800 kilometers, we have the thermosphere. So this is where the aurora lights are. This is where the International Space Station is. And this is primarily where this research paper is talking about. But as you'll hear in this research paper, these orbs are actually known to go below the thermosphere. And then above the thermosphere, we have the exosphere, which has spaceships, satellites, things of that nature. And beyond that is open space. Okay, so it says here, plasmas up to 1 kilometer in size and behaving similarly to multicellular organisms have been filmed on 10 separate NASA space shuttle missions over 200 miles above the Earth within the thermosphere. These self-illuminated plasmas are attracted to and may feed on electromagnetic radiation. They have different morphologies, so these are the different shapes that they take on: cone, cloud, donut, and spherical cylindrical. So anything from a sphere to like a pill shape or a tic-tac shape, if you guys have ever seen that tic-tac video that was released by the military a few years ago, and have been filmed flying towards and descending from the thermosphere into thunderstorms, congregating by the hundreds and interacting with satellites, generating electromagnetic activity. Computerized analysis of the flight path trajectories documents these plasmas travel at different velocities from different directions and change the angle trajectory of making 45-degree, 90-degree, and 180-degree shifts and follow each other. They've been filmed accelerating, slowing down, stopping, congregating, engaging in hunter-predatory behavior, and intersecting plasmas, leaving a plasma dust trail in their wake. So what they're saying is that these plasmas will intersect, one will collide with the other, and then leave a plasma dust trail behind it. Similar lifelike behaviors have been demonstrated by plasmas created experimentally. Plasmas may have been photographed in the 1940s by World War II pilots identified as Foo Fighters, and we'll touch on that here shortly. Repeatedly observed and filmed by astronauts and military pilots and classified as unidentified aerial anomalous phenomenon. Plasmas are not biological, but may represent a form of pre-life that via incorporation of elements common in space could result in the synthesis of RNA. Plasmas constitute a fourth state of matter, are attracted to electromagnetic activity, and listen to this part, when observed in the lower atmosphere, likely account for many of the UFO/UAP sightings over the centuries. Let's just dive into a few chapters here. I'm not going to read the whole thing. UAP and extraterrestrial electromagnetic plasmas. Interstellar space and the upper atmosphere of Earth are permeated by plasmas. Plasmas are believed to constitute a fourth state of matter and may represent a form of pre-life or inorganic, non-biological life, as detailed in this report. Pulsating, glowing plasmas up to 1 kilometer in size and behaving similarly to simple multicellular organisms have been filmed over 200 miles above Earth within the thermosphere by 10 separate space shuttle missions, and they list all the missions right here. These plasmas descend into the lower atmosphere of Earth and when observed may have been classified as unidentified aerial phenomenon, or as some prefer, anomalous phenomenon. As documented in this report, these plasma-like entities have been photographed congregating in the thermosphere above and diving into massive thunderstorms below, gathering around satellites, generating electromagnetic pulses into the space medium, approaching and appearing outside the windows of NASA's space shuttles, changing velocity and direction, and making sudden 45 to 90 degree turns and following and even colliding and intersecting with one another. Yeah, so why haven't we heard about that? That's pretty crazy. So these glowing, pulsating plasmas in the thermosphere grow in size, replicate, are attracted to, and make contact and intersect one another, often releasing kilometers in length plasma dust trails in their wake. Yet others engage in what appears to be hunter-predatory behavior, tracking, then accelerating and piercing other plasmas that may be several dozen kilometers distant, even striking and intersecting up to 10 or more at varying distances from one another. They display all the characteristics of like-like plasmas as defined by Alphen Giordani. Although plasmas in the thermosphere engage in behavior in all respects, plasmas are not biological entities and their actions are not mediated by electromagnetic and other non-biological factors, including the incorporation of radiated dust. Plasmas may have high or low density, high or low temperatures, may be stable or unstable, and consist of positively and negatively charged particles, ionized atoms of gas, and whose basic interactions are electromagnetic. In the upper atmosphere, plasmas are believed to react and possibly form in response to intermittent turbulence, geomagnetic storms, coronal mass ejections, solar flares, eclipses, the waxing and waning of sunlight, atmospheric waves, and the incorporation of dust, all of which affect the shape, velocity, and behavior of plasmas. Plasmas can form complex, lifelike shapes as well as nucleus. that may acquire DNA-like capabilities. For example, space is permeated by dust, and when a plasma incorporates dust grains, the plasma acquires an electric charge that sucks in electrons, which attract positively charged ions, giving rise to plasma crystals, which also contain organic matter, including fragments of carbonaceous chondrites. Electrostatic forces and the polarization of the plasma cause these plasma dust crystals to twist, spin, and form helical structures that can evolve into a double helix, similar to the double helix of DNA. These helixes can then be replicated in other crystals, and that the self-organizing ability of these crystals can affect other plasmas, which may also form a plasma dust crystal helix. Although theoretical, this exchange of electrical charges could be likened to horizontal gene transfer. However, there is no evidence plasmas contain DNA, nucleotides, or amino acids. These extraterrestrial plasmas filmed in the thermosphere may represent a non-biological form of pre-life before acquisition of RNA and then DNA. Further, when they descend into the lower atmosphere, they would likely be classified as UFO and UAP when observed. So what they're saying is they would be essentially a synthetic life form as we know it. Plasmas, space shuttles, astronauts, fighter pilots, UFOs, UAPs. These plasmas have been first photographed in the 1940s, identified as Foo Fighters by US, Japanese, and German pilots, and observed by astronauts beginning in the 1960s, and may have been recently filmed by military pilots classified as unidentified aerial phenomenon. Given the attraction to electromagnetic and other powerful sources of energy and their responsiveness to radio signals and sources of heat, it is likely that these plasmas account for at least some of the anecdotal UAP sightings as recorded by the U.S. Department of Defense Unidentified Anomalous Reporting System over nuclear power plants. These areas above and surrounding Hiroshima and Nagasaki, destroyed by atomic bombs in 1945, and Fukushima Prefecture, a site of a major nuclear power plant accident in 2011, and for numerous reports of UAPs approaching and following airplanes. These plasmas have been filmed swarming toward and congregating by the hundreds around satellites, generating electromagnetic activity into the thermosphere, and observed approaching and appearing outside the windows of NASA's space shuttles. STS-115 reported and filmed a similar encounter, the commander describing them as translucent, flexible, not a solid object, metallic but not made of metal, and giving off light and glowing. Not a solid metal structure rules out wreckage and space junk, as does their ability to change shape and direction, speed up and slow down, and produce a glowing illumination, which in nucleus void can often be discerned. And then here are a few more quotes from astronauts that are describing these orbs. On May 15th, 1963, while riding a Mercury capsule on its final orbit of a 22-orbit journey around the world, astronaut Gordon Cooper reported a glowing greenish object which was rapidly approaching. On June 4th, 1965, astronauts Ed White and James McDivitt spotted a huge metallic object approaching the Gemini orbiter. In December of 1965, Gemini astronaut James Lovell reported a bogey at 10 o'clock high. Capcom, this is Houston.
Very early in 2025, all hell is going to break loose.
The fog rolling through. Dense fog advisory in parts of South Florida.
But the weirdest part is the taste and smell.
No BS, yo. That thing is in the sky. Look, look. Look, y'all.
Not a plane.
We don't know.
We're going into 2025 right now with a lot of questions that are still unanswered. UFO sightings, orb sightings, drones with no updates from the government, strange fog appearing all around the world now, alien-like beings being spotted on people's ring cams and security cams. We got a lot to cover right now, and today is that video, so let's get to it. Alright, so let's talk about the drones for a quick second, because a lot of people are still seeing drones flying at night.
They are literally over everywhere. There are so many hovering right now over Lake Ray Hubbard. Look at that. Look at that.
Not many people have seen them during the day, and a lot of people have been asking, why is that? How come we never see them during the day? Well, one guy actually captured one flying over his house in the mid-daylight in like a regular neighborhood. This is not a military training base or anything like that. Take a look at this. It has been confirmed. A lot of people left comments on that. I even checked with ChatGPT. I uploaded a photo of that. If you guys don't use ChatGPT, you should check it out. You can upload photos to it and ask what ChatGPT thinks it is. And the first thing that it said is it looks like a Reaper Q9 drone. And when I Googled a Reaper Q9, that's exactly what it is. Look at the shape with the long wings. Look at the tail. It's the exact same thing.
It's larger and more powerful than the MQ-1 Predator and is designed to execute time-sensitive targets with persistence and precision and destroy or disable those targets.
Surveillance, attack strikes, they can carry missiles. So there is a military unmanned autonomous drone flying over civilian neighborhoods. The government's still saying they don't know what the drones are. That right there is one of ours, and that's in the daylight. They're still out there, and the mainstream media isn't going to talk about it that much. They're also trying to suppress it on social media apps like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're all over the place. They are literally over everywhere.
I don't know if you guys heard about this, but do you remember when that UAP apparently crashed?
Drone crash somewhere behind where I'm standing. We're working to get that information confirmed with officials.
The news coverage couldn't get anywhere close to it.
Police are being extremely tight-lipped, referring all questions to the FBI. I asked one firefighter right before he left. He politely said that he is not at liberty to say.
Apparently there was a guy that was in the store when the UAP drone whatever crash happened, and when he came out, he started filming.
I am at the site of the downed drone in New Jersey, Hillsborough, New Jersey. I'm currently in pursuit.
You did it live on TikTok.
Literally I'm just so sick of the news stations like acting like they don't know anything and this and that. Let's have some actual real live footage here. Fox News literally just asked me for an interview. Here comes the bullshit live. It doesn't have to be something crazy. I do find it weird that the government, nobody knows what it is.
Yeah, find out what's going on. Thanks a lot. What's your name?
Tony.
Tony what?
Tony B.
Oh, Tony B. Tony B. What town you live in, Tony?
Hillsborough.
Hillsborough.
Next thing you know, his live feed got cut. He got banned from going live on TikTok like that.
Okay, as you guys know, I was just banned while combing the site of the crash. Right now, there is an incredible amount of activity over there. Helicopters and drones flying all over, and I cannot go live.
Why do you think that would be? And then there's this guy who decided to return to the scene on a snowy day to check out the UAP crash site. Take a look at this. This is really interesting.
A Jeep Gladiator that is parked over there, kind of just stalking us here in the parking lot. Again, we're right here at the Lowe's, right at the UAP crash site right now. And again, my whole theory here and why we came here was because radioactive material will melt snow if there's enough of it. Now there's two things that I caught here, okay? One being this right here. It looks as if something hit and splattered that way, okay? Now, there's another one here, and in my full video on YouTube, this hits, splatters that way. Now we're gonna have to walk just a little bit further down here, so hold on 1 second here with me while I show you this, because this is really interesting. There's a third one down here. I thought these were like little, like water line, like covers or holes. It's not. It's pure asphalt. And again, this one looks like it hits and disperses that way right there. So again, I'm not saying that's radioactive material, but I am saying that radioactive material makes ice melt if there is enough of it in one spot.
He made some really good points. He said that if there was radiation in this drone, radiation typically, it won't gather snow. Snow won't stick to it. Snow will just melt away from it. And I find it kind of odd that he said that he felt like he was being watched by this military-looking truck that was off in the distance, just parked there, keeping an eye on him. Something's going on, guys. Something weird is happening. Now, have you guys heard about the airplanes going down recently? Because there's a couple airlines that have had to do emergency landings, and it's getting kind of weird.
The frightening moments on an American Airlines flight from LaGuardia Airport here in New York to Charlotte, moments after takeoff of bird strike leading to engine failure.
Apparently, they said a bird went into the propeller. I'm going to show you something a little bit odd about this whole situation. A couple days before that happened, someone uploaded a video on TikTok, and I thought that's just some kind of CGI. Someone probably added some effects to the video to make this bird look like it was electrical. So there was a couple different theories about that. Some people said that it was flying through a charged atmosphere, that's why it was blinking. But then there's other people saying, well, maybe that was a drone and it was malfunctioning. The military has been known to use drones for like surveillance that look like birds, but they don't really fly like that. Now check this out. Footage leaked from China of them testing out one of their newest models of drones that looks, flies, and moves just like a bird. Look at this. Obviously, if it looks just like a bird, it's meant to fly into areas it's not supposed to be in, gather data, gather intel, survey, interfere with airlines. Do you ever think about that? What if that wasn't a bird that flew into that propeller? I'm just asking you a question.
Hey, listen, yo, check this out, yo. I see something in the sky, yo. I'm telling you. Hold on. Yo, check this out. No BS, man. This is right here in the middle of the road. Like, I'm driving down the road here. Look, this is my car right here. No BS, yo. No BS. This thing is in the road, in the sky right there in front of me. I'm on the road going to Somerville like this thing turning. What the f is going on?
This guy stopped, got out of his car, and he looks up, and the object is in the same spot every time he looks up. I'm pretty sure that that's not CGI. He actually saw this in the sky. Let's keep watching.
A car coming down the road. Hold on. A car looking too. Hold on. The car probably see it too. No BS, yo. That thing is in the sky. Look, y'all. I want to know if the car see it.
The triangular shape seems to be common, and I'm going to show you guys a couple more clips right now of people who captured the exact same thing.
We don't know. You know what? They look like lanterns. They do.
You can hear the buzzing.
And they literally just went down and around, like down to the water. Oh my God, look at them in the then they went up, and then now they're right about here. And look at that. That's a triangle right there that they're creating. No way. A perfect triangle. Nobody knows what they are. They're just flittering in the sky. They were in the sky and then they came back down.
It seems to be a common pattern. If you notice, a lot of people who were talking about UFOs and disclosure and stuff, like even Stephen Greer, his logo is a 3-dot triangle. So if it's made up, why are people seeing this all over the place? Take a look at this. Now, this video right here is crazy too. If you haven't seen this, this was from December 21st, and this was in a Target parking lot in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
This is what everybody's talking about on the news right now?
I think so. Whoa.
Now let's take a look in Arizona on Christmas Eve. Look at this.
Oh my god! What the f? What is this? Bro, what is it? No, it's not John, it's not those things. Oh my goodness. Look at it.
And then there was a strange formation seen in Georgia just recently in the midst of all this strange fog, which we're about to get into in a moment. People are seeing this weird fog all over the place, but look at this formation that was captured in the daytime in Georgia.
Look at the alien invasion now.
That's no alien.
Yes, it is an alien invasion. What is it? Look at them. They moving in circles at the top. See, the formation on the right, and then they got another formation in the middle, and another formation on the left. Mm-hmm.
Aliens do exist. They don't live with us.
No, this is crazy. I don't know what is going on today, but what is this? Not the only one seeing this, is it?
Now, with all these strange drone sightings and orbs in the sky, people are still trying to figure out, are the orbs just drones? And my answer to you would be no. I showed a peek of this in the last upload that I did, but I didn't really show the full video in length with the guys talking about what it is. Take a look at this.
Look at it. Look at it. Look at it on the camera. It's like a dome.
That's a UFO.
Quiet.
What the fuck? Like literally, dude, that's weird in the sky right there. Dude, are we watching a shoot or shooting star?
No, that's not moving quick enough. There's no tail. That's a UFO.
There's no blue or red
Look,
lines.
something's coming off.
What the?
Whoa, bro.
It's coming right here.
It's kind of like an aura coming off. I've never seen anything like it. I got my video around $2 in the video. What the fuck is that?
Dude, this is nuts.
Look at the UFO.
Look at the lights going off in two sides, though.
Look, it's moving. Look at the lights are moving around it. What the fuck?
It's hovering.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I see that.
Look, it's going up. It's taking off. No fucking way.
What the fuck? It just went out to space.
What?
It just went out to space.
What the?
It just went out to space. Holy
oh my god.
It literally just takes off into outer space. It's floating there, hovering, and at the speed that it shoots out of there, that's not just like a regular SpaceX rocket or a drone or a plane. That's something with insanely fast speeds to go straight into outer space like that. Here's another strange sighting that was seen up in the sky. Take a look at this.
Look. See what I'm doing right now?
Hold on. Is Mommy looking at the right thing?
Yeah. You see that?
So here's the strange thing about this. It appears to be a black object that's kind of transparent. You could almost see through it. And as it passes by certain stars, it's like you could actually see through whatever this object is. Also, just a quick interruption. I don't want to take you guys away from the clips for too long, but if you are enjoying this video, please hit that like button down below. It helps. Leave a comment. I am a self-funded channel, so if you guys want to grab some merch or something, you can check out the store. I'll leave a link down below in the description. I have a Patreon page if you'd like to show support like that, or I think you could probably just leave a sticker down below in the comments now. Anything that you guys contribute is greatly appreciated, and not a day goes by that I am not completely honored by the fact that I get to be a content creator and make stuff for your entertainment. So thank you for joining me. Let's continue the show.
The videos rolling in of the fog rolling through. The National Weather Service issuing a dense fog advisory in parts of South Florida.
So let's talk about the fog for just a quick moment. Okay, so what's weird about fog? That's probably what you're wondering, and I was wondering the same thing when I started looking into it. Well, there's a couple things, and I'm going to show you right now.
All right, so it's crazy foggy right now. But that's not the weird part, okay? Like, number one, it's weird because as it gets later in the day, fog should lighten, dissipate, and it's really not. But the weirdest part is the taste and smell. It smells like after you set off a bunch of fireworks, and like the taste of the air is, I mean, the only word I can think of is toxic. It's super weird. And so I'm going for my walk, and it's kind of worrying me a little bit. Let me know if you guys are experiencing something like that. That's weird. Yeah, I mean, it smells not right. And I'm 41. I've been through fog. This is something different.
This is in Southwest Florida. It's not snowing here, folks. It's not raining at all. You can see my feet are dry. There is no water on this paper, regardless. They're dry. And it is basically snowing out with this fog. This is not normal.
Does that look weird to you at all? I mean, does that look like normal fog that you see on a regular basis? Because to me, it kind of looks like snow. Like she said in the video, it smells funny. It leaves a film on stuff. People are finding weird chemical bubbles in their pools.
My friend who lives in East Texas woke up today and this is what was in her pool. Now, she's lived in this property for over 11 years. Never has had anything like this happen before. No, she did not change any chemical regimen in her pool. The only thing that she says that was kind of weird was there was some really odd fog yesterday.
And I actually saw that outside of my own house. Take a look at this. It ain't snowing. Definitely ain't snowing. And you got all these particles in the air. That was this morning. I got up to go to the store. It was like 6 in the morning, still dark out. It was foggy as hell. I captured it all the way to the store and back. And I was like, you know what? This fog is a little bit thick. This is a little bit abnormal. You could see the particles in it. It's dense as hell, and it's pretty much everywhere right now. So I think a lot of you guys are probably thinking the same thing that I'm thinking at this point. There's been a lot of clips of people capturing drones spraying something in the sky, in the air. Chemicals that look like they're being released from some of these strange drones. And we're not talking about regular airplane chemtrails. We're talking about just weird mists coming out of some of these flying objects. Is the fog related? Is this fog somehow unnatural? Now, I don't want to just jump to the pessimistic negative side of things and say, yeah, this is some weird chemical that people are breathing in that's all over the place. But is it a possibility? Yeah, I guess it is, isn't it? Anything is possible, really. So that led me to ask myself a really important question. A lot of us believe that the government is protecting us and we never have anything to worry about. And I think that that belief can lead to a lot of people being unprepared if something were to actually happen. Because the idea of chemical weapons being released in our country, it's like so many people think that that's not possible. The government would never allow that to happen. I don't need to worry about it. Someone else is protecting me and stopping all the bad things in the world from happening to me. But I think that it's important for you guys to realize that if it were to happen, it's better to be prepared. It's better to be safe rather than sorry. And that's the first thing that I thought about, because I was like, if this was some kind of weird chemical that people are out here breathing in, do I have a gas mask? Do I have like food that doesn't go bad if I needed to stay indoors? If there was some kind of chemical attack on the country, do I have these things? And the answer was no. And I think that the answer is no for a lot of people, because they think, well, rather than investing the money in something that could possibly save my life if there were ever a crisis or an emergency, I'm just going to trust the government that they're going to take care of it. Everything will be all right. I know this might sound a little bit crazy and I might sound like I'm wearing a tinfoil hat or I'm a major conspiracy theorist. All I know is it's better to be safe than sorry. And if you want to talk about biblical context of it, Noah was building a boat in the middle of a desert and people said, you're crazy.
Plasmoids and plasma entities is really popular right now, and this scientist tries to debunk that article. Let's break it down part by part. Let's go.
They're calling them plasmoids. The internet is losing its collective
collective mind over plasmoids, and I thought that this video is a really good chance to talk about the source of it all, which is this paper that was published at the beginning of December 2024. Basically, there's this company called Scripps, I think it is, in Wuhan, China. So my problem is not necessarily with the work not being peer-reviewed. My problem is that it is published in a not peer-reviewed journal, which means that they had no intention of the work being peer-reviewed.
Let me jump in. Peer review is a cancer from outer space. It came from the biomedical community. It invaded science. The old system, because I have to say this, because many people who are now professional scientists have an idea that peer review has always been in our literature, and it absolutely motherfucking has not.
Let's not forget that we're publishing this stuff on a Chinese-owned app called TikTok, so I don't think that really matters.
So let's look at the authors now, because the person in the video is very excited about the author list and the list of institutions. They are connecting themselves to a place called the Astrobiology Research Center. The person in the video I just showed you got very excited about this. There's no such place in California as the Astrobiology Research Center. This place does not exist.
Yes, it does. It's owned by NASA, and it's the Astrobiology Institute, and it's been in existence for 20 years. It's owned by NASA, and this is a subcomponent and part of that company that operates out of UC Riverside, Alternative Earth's Astrobiology Center. It's actually a real thing.
The other thing is that the person, or the lead author himself, refers to himself as Dr. Joseph, but I cannot find any evidence of what, where, or when this person studied. There is absolutely no credentials anyway to tell us what type of a scientist this person who has written this paper is.
It is Andrew.
Believe it or not, I got pulled over the same exact spot. I got the IES.
Also at UC Riverside. There is his profile. He is an assistant professor of physics and astronomy. Again, it took me like 5 minutes to find all of this stuff. I'm not sure what search engine you're using.
And the second author on the paper is somebody called Olivier Planchet.
Olivier is a French researcher, and he's got his own list right here on his website, and he even references the article. He works at this company, BGS Biogeosciences, and they have a lot of research there. He is listed as one of the researchers for that company, and here is all of their actual publications that you can go look at.
I've tried to look into this person. I cannot find very much information about them.
Took me
I want to skip to Richard
2 minutes to find.
Now, Richard Armstrong is listed as being a member of the Department of Vision Sciences at Aston University in Birmingham. Now, I've looked.
Oh my God. Y'all, the UFOs, the drones in New Jersey are chasing these things. That is it. That's the freaking answer. So these are called plasmoids, and the drones are actually probably government drones chasing these plasmoids, and they don't want us to know how important these are. These are magic. These are the plasmas I've been talking about for years. And I will give the credit where credit's due. There are several people who posited that these drones are actually chasing the plasmoids, that the drones are not plasmoids, and I 100% agree. Genius. So what the F are plasmoids? I'll tell you. And I have 115 videos on plasma, plasmoids, and plasma intelligence in my playlist on my bio if you are obsessed with this after this video. Okay, plasma is the fourth state of matter. It is in plasma balls, it is lightning, it is ionized gas that creates fluorescence when the electrons are flurrying around the nucleus and they're free. Crash course on plasma. Non-plasma, plasma, free electrons, not super tied to the nucleus. This can create fluorescence, which is in the aurora borealis, lightning, fluorescent light, neon lights. Plasma is also the sun and any star. Plasma has to do with sacred geometry, and now let's get into plasmoids. There are several theories that plasma is intelligent, including the intelligent plasma hypothesis by Dr. Massimo Teodorini, who is an astrophysicist, and of course an electronic musician, because plasma is sound. There's also a book, A New Science of Heaven by Robert Temple, which is literally about the science of plasma transforming humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. It talks about plasmoids. And then this is Dr. Massimo's book about consciousness and plasma. So basically these plasmoids have literally been studied by the government since the 50s. And now they're appearing in our atmosphere instead of just space where they can be hidden away to study in private and its magical properties. Yep, plasma is magic. There are several government and physicist papers on plasma. Just Google CIA plasma UAPs. You can also look up this and this in the Journal of Modern Physics about new studies on plasma and plasmoids. This was recent. A couple common things plasmoids have in common are they put you into a flow state. You can literally hallucinate when you see them. They distort light. They also can be found a lot near water. And sometimes even plasma beings or these entities shapeshift from the ship down into these little either plasma balls or humanoid shapes of light and connect with people. They can be seen in the form of toruses, blobs, spirals. They glow. They're electromagnetic. Okay, so these drones that are probably studying these plasmas, this is the kicker. These plasmas are basically fractal and light. And this is where science meets magic, my friends. Sacred geometry, plasma is associated not only with the platonic solids, but plasma is indeed fractal, even in mathematics and science. Especially in quark-gluon plasma, think of it as dying plasma, because it basically, when they're in the Hadron Collider or when they're breaking all these things apart, this plasma is shown at the deepest structures of the universe, which I would call dying plasma. My friend actually also thought of that and told me that. And I think that now we'll get into my theory. The opposite of this dying plasma is the living plasma that literally creates everything in the universe. It is the substrate of freaking reality in this holographic universe we call the Matrix. It is the divine feminine, and these plasmoids are these divine feminine shapes holding the masculine consciousness. Plasma is the vehicle for consciousness. If you go to the link in my bio, you can read on my website all about what plasma intelligence is. Basically, our entire world is made up of a plasma akin to a living ether, and a live ether, which is the medium for light and consciousness. And think of these plasmoids basically as holding these future or higher consciousnesses that are bilocating or remote viewing us. What is that? Basically, bilocation is where your consciousness can be two places at once. So these plasmoids almost create like a wormhole or like a looking glass, where these alien entities can view us without actually being here. So they kind of stay safe in case they get shot down by these drones, which isn't going to do anything to them because they're literally higher consciousnesses and we can't do anything to them. And there's also no reason to be scared of them. We should be scared of ourselves. And that's what they're here to tell us, by the way. If you wanted to get into some channeled messaging here, number one, we should be scared of ourselves. Number two, we should stop all of the stuff we're doing that while they're showing up around certain facilities, they don't really want that happening. There's way safer methods. And guess what? Humanity can save themselves by... We're creating the need for fusion and cleaning the air because of the stuff we're doing. There's things we don't need to do that can stop that all from happening to begin with. We'll figure that out eventually. You can think of plasma as ki, prana, energy, flubber. Think of the fact that we're all in a painting. The painting is all made by plasma, but it's in different gradients, densities, colors. That is our universe. So plasma has its own sentience or intelligence apart from consciousness, which means that these entities, these plasma balls, they're actually holding the consciousness. But they think of it as an intelligent horse or an intelligent horse that you're riding. You're the consciousness riding this horse like this, the chariot of the gods. So we're the consciousness, or these beings looking at us are riding this horsey, and this plasma ball is also intelligent and sentient, and it can shapeshift. It can, fly away. It can go very fast, maybe into other dimensions. So plasma is the vehicle for consciousness. So think about when we die, our consciousness goes back to this fountain, this lake, and then it's almost reborn into this earthly plane. It's a more fifth dimensional and fourth dimensional space. And then think of these plasma balls, these plasmoids that you're seeing as this denser plasma, this ship that's holding our consciousness. So it's kind of like everything's made out of clay, and we're scooping the clay and we're adding stuff to it, so it's a ship. I hope that makes sense. Also, something to know, consciousness is the male principle, plasma is the female principle. They feed off of each other almost in a feedback loop or an infinity loop. Matter to make God's children, the universe's children, literally everything creation, everything you see on this earth. And something also, us, we are actually the tool, we are the funnel, we are the gold, alchemical gold, we are the vessel, we are the chalice, we are the Holy Grail, and consciousness and plasma feedback with us. And that's how we create our reality, our multi-dimensional experience, is by harnessing consciousness and plasma. Think of consciousness almost as like this fifth dimensional light, what people can call God, and think of plasma as the energy that consciousness molds to create our third dimensional. So a few months back, there was a craze about plasmoids. Everyone was seeing these things in the sky, and the biggest question was, are they conscious or not? It took the country by storm, and the weirdest part about it was, is this a government psyop? Is this something spiritual? And instead of getting sucked up in the news by all these stories, I decided to do research and a presentation on what really are plasmoids, are they conscious, and what does it have to do with the future of humanity? I'm writing a book on plasma and consciousness and the new human potential movement. It is all I study. I am after truth, not fanaticism, but if it's magical, great. And my findings were pretty damn cool, which I'm going to show you in a presentation. This is 10 minutes long. Go to my YouTube if you're watching this for the whole presentation, or my TikTok. So, these UAP plasmoids in the sky people have been seeing, could they be conscious? So plasmoid UAP specifically are plasma-like entities. Some videos are real, some are fake, but you know that people have seen them. I get messages all the time. It's a very real phenomenon. They are characterized by self-illumination, purposeful movement, sudden acceleration, abrupt directional changes, and a lack of conventional signatures, such as heat trails, which challenges our current understanding of physics and aerospace engineering. Their movements are intelligent, which begs the central question, could these UAP plasmoids be conscious or vehicles for consciousness? Haha. So my hypothesis is that plasma, the fourth state of matter, which I will get into, may act as the perfect vehicle or host for consciousness, which links the physical to the metaphysical. Plasma is the ultimate bridge of science and spirituality, and it is incredible. We are just figuring this out. My goal in this presentation was to explore scientific and theoretical foundation supporting this hypothesis. We're on a new frontier here.
If I try and bring this upwards, that is the range of motion that I get. That's as high as I can film. So the only way I can get all the way up is by making sure this handle is completely vertical. Then I get that full range of motion. And still, that is as high as it goes. If I try and bring this upwards, that is the range of motion that I get. That's as high as I can film. So the only way I can get all the way up is by making sure this handle is completely vertical. Then I get that full range of motion. And still, that is as high as it goes. If I try and bring this upwards, that is the range of motion.
So the age-old question, what the heck is plasma? Plasma in science is referred to as the fourth state.
I'll have him bring that Gatorade. I'm actually gonna grab water myself.
This is 20-year-old Amber Riswin, sitting inside a police interrogation room at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. All you need to know at this moment is that Amber doesn't quite realize how much trouble she's in.
Amber, is it? Detective Edwards, I know we spoke on scene and I asked you if you'd be kind enough to, come down here so we could talk. Before we talk, I'm going to protect myself and protect you. Okay, and I'm just going to inform you of your rights. You have the right to remain silent and not answer any questions, and any statement can and will be used against you in the court of law. Alright, so, broad and general question, what happened? Take a deep breath.
Last night was a culmination of things that had been going on for the past week and month or so. I've been there since January, and Blake had been progressively more aggressive towards me. He would like make abusive statements. He would hold me by the wrists and like shake me around. He spit in my face yesterday, and he would also like have these angry fits of rage where he would start breaking things and throwing things around. And he even put like a bunch of scratches on my guitar.
Okay.
And then last night he decided to buy LSD and was acting nutso. And then I laid down on the futon in the center living room, and Blake was starting to like play around with the gun. And he was pointing it at me at this point. It was like sideways. And so I grabbed it and I pushed his hand away. I grabbed it again and I let loose.
Where'd you shoot him on his body?
I think I shot him in his face.
Okay. And why there?
He was just there, like in front of me, smothering me.
Okay.
So that was like within my arm's reach, there was this much of it.
I gotcha.
And he started spilling the blood everywhere, and he came up to like get me, and then that's when I cut him, because at that point I reached into my pocket, and I got my knife and I cut him.
Okay.
And then he opened the door, he got outside, and then he started screaming and saying like, help me, and then the other guard showed up, and he was like threatening me. He kicked me, that guard that called the police. Like they were being aggressive towards me too, and they thought that I was just some prostitute.
I gotcha. So as he's crawling outside, what's going on in this moment? Are you behind him? Are you in front of him?
I was behind him, and I was like trying to like get him back inside. That way there wasn't like some scene. Like I really didn't want to deal with people outside.
Okay.
You may have already noticed that Amber's interrogation won't require a whole lot of analysis. So for contrast, you'll be presented with 4 additional subjects with very different personalities. The first of which will begin right away. From what we could research about Ashley Benefield, she was an extremely talented dancer, able to confidently perform with natural poise in front of large crowds in sold-out theaters. But according to reports, her social presence was considerably more reserved, with people describing her as friendly, but somewhat shy and sometimes withdrawn, unless she was under the influence of enough alcohol, which was reportedly the case when she met former naval pilot Doug Benefield at a business conference and broke the ice by revealing she had a concealed firearm tucked into her bra. Despite a 30-year age gap, they seemed to fall quickly in love and got married 14 days later. They then launched the American National Ballet together, which Ashley conceptualized hoping to create a worldwide organization. But the company failed to get investors and dissolved quickly thereafter. Ashley then filed for divorce, but was already pregnant with their daughter. So they then had to co-parent together over the following 2.5 years, which created considerable tension, culminating in Ashley shooting Doug in the leg and chest when he was visiting her mother's house. She then ran to the neighbors, claiming that Doug had attacked her and that she had been forced to shoot him. Then she called her attorney, who accompanied her to the police station and informed investigators that she would not be providing a statement.
Okay. Ashley, I'm Detective Flonzinski. I'm with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit. I know that we haven't talked yet, and we're not going to be taking a statement from you. That's fine. I have a search warrant, okay? And your attorney's here. I'm going to give it a copy to both of you so you guys can read it, but I'm going to actually read it to you first. But no one can stop this process, just so you know, because it is a search warrant, all right? You can't refuse it. If you do refuse it, there's actually a charge for that. It's called obstruction to a search warrant. All right, we're going to stop recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm just worried for her. She doesn't eat anything all day or anything like that.
Do you want me to get you something?
No, I don't think she can eat. She doesn't think able to eat, so. But no.
How can I make her more comfortable?
No, she's fine.
Okay. I mean, the last thing I want her to do is feel like, you know, she's going to pass out, or if I can make her more comfortable. Ashley, I understand that, you know, you're not supposed to be talking to me, but you can tell your attorney I'm hungry or thirsty or something, and I will get you whatever you wanted. Aspirin. I rushed and got you aspirin. I know that I'm supposed to be the bad guy. I'm not trying to be the bad guy, and I don't want to be the bad guy. If I can help you, please tell me how I can help you, okay? This is teamwork as far as I'm concerned. I want to get the truth, and you want me to know the truth.
police would find no evidence to support her case for self-defense. There were no signs of a struggle, and nothing to indicate that Doug had attacked her prior to the shooting. She was charged with second-degree murder, then released on $100,000 bond awaiting trial. It began on July 23, 2024.
Do you have any hobbies?
I love art. I like drawing, painting, sculpting, ballet. I enjoy gardening, baking, cooking. Most importantly, I'm a mom.
I want to ask you about Doug. When did the two of you meet?
We met August 25th of 2016.
Did he turn out to be who you thought he was?
No, not at all.
I want to direct your attention, Ashley, now, if I can, to the day of the homicide, September 27, 2020. Specifically, late in the afternoon. Would you tell us why Doug was at your home?
He came over to help load some of the larger items that my mom and I had kind of pre-staged in the garage into the U-Haul truck. We started getting into a back and forth about being done for the day and what still needed to be packed and that I wanted to be done. And we ended up in our daughter's bedroom and he started screaming at me. He said, "Shut the fuck up."
Did you take any steps to try to avoid anything further?
Yes, I ran to try to leave the house.
He stops her from leaving, so she runs upstairs.
Where?
To my room.
Why?
Because I was scared.
She grabs one of the two guns she had in her bedroom.
And what do you see, Ashley, when you look up?
Doug was standing in the doorway. His face was red. Like the veins were bulging in his neck. His eyes were black.
Does he yell anything at you?
He said, "You're fucking done."
At that point, Ashley, what are you thinking?
I thought he was gonna kill me.
Judge, could we have a minute, maybe a brief recess, so I have her compose herself?
All right. All right, you all can have a seat.
If a single shared expression could capture the essence of a trial, this would probably be it. You have the victim's daughter, brother, sister-in-law, cousin, 3 nieces, and the prosecution.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Ma'am, there's Kleenexes here next to you.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, there's Kleenexes here next to you.
It's anyone's guess as to why Ashley got so freaked out by the mention of a Kleenex. But it's worth noting that she has not, and will not, shed a single tear for the duration of her testimony. People can of course get emotional without shedding tears, so you can decide for yourself what exactly is going on here. It's just interesting that she keeps wiping her face when there's nothing to wipe.
Okay, thank you. If I wore the wrong thing, he would call me a whore or a slut. I feel like I couldn't do anything right. I feel like I had made a really big mistake marrying him. Sometimes he would drive really scary, yelling and screaming at me, like running up on curbs. One time he almost hit a tree.
I would like to just start with a couple of issues. So Doug had a vasectomy removal in April of 2017, right?
Yes.
And you paid for that?
Part of it went on my debit card or my credit card.
And your intention was to get pregnant?
Yes, we had talked about that, yeah.
During this time, you said he had started criticizing you, right? Mm-hmm. About the way you looked, your clothes, the way you acted. He was, according to you, he flipped a table, tried to flip the table, threw a chair, right?
Yes.
He would scream at you.
Yes.
He would call you slut and whore.
Yes.
And you want a baby.
What you're seeing here is known as strategic insinuation. where tone and rhetorical framing are used to undermine credibility. This is especially effective when paired with nonverbal cues, such as the look the prosecutor is now giving the defendant. She is not allowed to speculate nor accuse the defendant until her closing statement, so this is her way of doing both without technically breaking any rules.
I mean, yeah, we were married, we wanted a family.
Okay.
And here we have the infamous microtransgression. Here's another one.
In fact, during this time in South Carolina, you never worked, did you?
He wouldn't let me work.
Okay.
As you can tell, the way she says okay isn't neutral. It's laced with skepticism and condescension, conveying the subtext of disbelief without saying the words. What's intriguing about these elements is how their effectiveness depends heavily on the power dynamics in the courtroom. This is what we refer to as a very low to very high power dynamic. And to give you a better understanding of this concept, we'll show you a circumstance on the complete opposite end of the spectrum.
And you're not trained in accident reconstruction.
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Neither am I.
This is what being a fan looks like, of the person you're meant to be prosecuting. The story here is that her client Terry skied into the back of Gwyneth Paltrow and is now trying to sue her for $3 million.
All right. You were wearing goggles, a helmet.
Yes.
Okay, kind of looked like everybody else on the slope.
That's always my intention.
Okay. Miss Paltrow, isn't it true that this was an accident that you caused?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well...
And I can tell you that Mr. Sanderson categorically hit me on that ski slope, and that is the truth.
And I'm sure that that's what you believe. I'm not saying...
Because it's the truth.
I'm not saying that.
Let's get a question.
So...
She's now about to ask Gwyneth her most confrontational question, which she really doesn't want to ask.
Maybe do you agree with that? That on that day of the collision, you were not engaging in any kind of risky behavior, especially
Correct.
because your kids were there.
I was not engaging in any risky behavior.
Okay. Especially
Correct.
because your kids were there.
I was not engaging.
Now compare this disposition of please forgive me Gwyneth Paltrow to I categorically do not like you, do not trust you, and have no problem letting both you and the entire world know about it.
Are you scared here of Doug?
No, I would not say no.
You said on direct examination that around this time you were living the nightmare. Those were your words, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you living the nightmare here?
Oh, no, not at that moment, no. That was a very nice day.
How about at this moment?
Oh, it was a good day.
And States 102 at this moment?
Same, it was a good day.